Hey folks, got an update here on the Tuttle case. Yet another update, but this one's kind of really interesting. It's not something I expected. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into it because I know you guys got better things to do than sit around and watch me. Let me enlarge this so you can actually know who you're listening to. All right. This photograph is the booking photograph for Officer Goins. And this is coming from the Associated Press that came out yesterday. Now remember that Goins was arrested on a federal warrant and has been in custody for a few days now. A judge has denied bond for a former Houston police officer charged with murder in a January drug raid that killed a couple in their home and left 5 officers wounded. Actually, it left 4 wounded and 1 just injured. He twisted his knee running away. U.S. Magistrate Judge Christina Bryan on Tuesday ordered former narcotics officer Gerald Goins, now 55, to remain in federal custody, in the Houston Chronicle reported. The decision comes days after Goins pleaded not guilty amid what prosecutors described as a vast and growing evidence in the January 28 bust in which Dennis Tuttle, 59, Regina Nichols, 58, were killed. Their dog was also slaughtered in that raid. Prosecutors said the 34-year police veteran fabricated an informant and lied on a search warrant affidavit, offense report, and tactical plan. Goins' attorney, Nicole DeBoard, said the move was disappointing but not a surprise. We continue to believe that he is appropriate for release on bond, DeBoard said. She insisted Goins is not a flight risk, noting his cooperation with bond conditions on 2 felony murder charges he's facing in state court. Goins and his former partner, Stephen Bryant, who's 45, were arrested at their homes last week on federal charges after agreeing to turn themselves in. Bryant has been charged in state court with obstructing justice by falsifying records, an accusation he denies. Authorities last week also apprehended Patricia Ann Garcia, who is accused of fabricating bad tips in a 911 call that led to the raid and subsequent gunfight. Goins, Bryant, and other armed narcotics officers burst into the home of Tuttle and Nichols, searching for a stash of guns and a pair of heroin dealers. The group had zeroed in on that address after getting repeated tips from a woman now identified as Garcia, who said her daughter was in the home getting high with the dealers. They were not drug dealers, FBI Special Agent O'Neill Brown told the court last week. Early on, the FBI launched its civil rights probe, and the Harris County District Attorney dismissed dozens of active cases involving the officers, in addition to announcing that prosecutors were going to review more than 14,000 cases that were previously handled by Goins, Bryant, and the rest of their squad. Meanwhile, lawyers for the family of the slain couple hired an independent forensics team to assess the scene. The team suggested that Tuttle may have been on the floor when he was shot and questioned whether he ever fired at police. All right, so I'm gonna break ranks here and say I don't think it's right to deny this guy bond. He's not been convicted of anything. He's just accused, and in the court of public opinion, we may convict him. However, that's not a court of law, and I don't believe he's a flight risk. I think it would be appropriate to allow him to be out on bond and prepare his case and work his case just like anybody else. If somebody were a genuine flight risk, I have no problem with keeping them in jail. If somebody is, a genuine danger to the public, I have no problem with keeping them in jail. I don't believe this guy is. Then again, maybe they know something we don't. Maybe there's been some witness tampering. Maybe there's been who knows what. But I think that everybody should be entitled to bond rather than be just put in jail. Now, I had an interesting conversation with somebody the other day about the federal charges. What a lot of you don't realize is that I anticipated there would be federal charges. I believe that the police union will support federal charges. You know why? Because that means Goins goes to a federal prison. It's basically just a daycare. You never heard of Club Fed? Okay? He'll be hanging out with politicians that have gone to jail. He'll be minimum security. He'll be in a place where, he's probably got tennis courts and swimming pools. Whereas if he goes to state prison, he ain't going to have all that. He won't even have air conditioning. The federal prisons, they got telephones in their cells. I mean, it's crazy compared to state prison. They get paid for working. State prison, they don't get paid for working. It's a move that's in his best interest. Personally, I think that the state should have precedent and get him first if he is convicted. That's how it should be. Anyhow, guys, that is it. I will get out of your hair, enjoy your holiday weekend, and I'll see you again soon. Y'all be safe.